Did say I'd lay it up. I had a half-court breakaway. Did say I would lay it up. Wouldn't want to embarrass myself. You did.
Feeling good?
Yep.
We're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll get started. Good afternoon, everybody. The Creighton Bluejays will go first. We'll start with an opening statement from Coach McDermott, and then we'll have questions for Ryan Hawkins, and then more questions for Coach McDermott. Go ahead, Coach.
Yeah, it's a heck of a win for us. I have tremendous respect for BYU and the job that Coach Pope does with that program. I was very impressed with them watching the film. They had some quality wins over San Diego State, on the road at Utah, and against Oregon, at Oregon. So, really, really good basketball team that we were able to defeat today. And I thought our guys had some teeth to what we were doing defensively. To start the game, the ball moved, and we saw a few shots go in, which I think was good for our mojo. And then just found a way to hold on. I had some guys out there, some pretty big minutes, but obviously Hawk was a huge difference in the game. But also Trey Alexander and Rati come off the bench, and 5 assists and 1 turnover. That's huge for us when we get that kind of play from our guards off the bench.
Thanks, Coach. Questions in the room for Ryan?
What do you think? Was it preparation? Because you guys obviously came out pretty crisp on both ends. Coach said you guys were locked in defensively. What do you think led to that?
Yeah, I think, and especially for having an 11 o'clock game with a really young team, I thought we were locked in mentally. I think that carry over offensively and defensively to start the game. We got a little bit of momentum. We used it to our advantage that first half, I felt like. And then, they're a veteran team that's obviously really good, so we knew they weren't going to go away. We handled their pressure, their physicality. They're a good team. They're not just going to die just because we have a good half. So I thought we handled the second half really well. We had a few lapses on defense, but that'll happen in a game. But yeah, I think Thursday, Friday leading up to it, we had 2 really good practices, especially with all the distractions of finals week. So I think it showed how mentally tough our freshmen are and our younger kids that haven't played a lot, how mentally tough they were to get finals taken care of and have a great prep week for practice.
Ryan, I know you've had big games obviously in the past, but just talk about that first half. You just really seemed like you were locked in offensively.
Finally made a shot, felt good. Sorry, Coach. I took a couple I probably shouldn't have, but I was having fun. Just kind of let it come. We did a lot of good things offensively that opened it up. Our guards are so good at getting downhill, playing in space, setting their feet. Creighton to start the game was huge on the O boards. It just loosened everything up, and as he grew, he just really flowed offensively that first half.
I think when your teammates found you on a cut, you might have found somebody on a cut. You guys were able to just kind of make some passes on the interior of their defense. Was that part of the plan, or you just kind of see something as you're?
Defensively, they do such a good job of not necessarily packing the lane, but working inside out defensively. Some of that they're going to get a little too high on a passing lane when you're at 15 feet. All you got to do is take a step up and back door, and then they're going to have somebody else step up, kick to a corner, kick to somebody that's cutting. Creighton found me on a really nice pass from him for a layup, so felt like we did a really good job first half of just moving without the ball and staying space.
I gotta ask you about the dunk. When did you decide you were gonna rise up?
I was had my steps right leading up to it. I'm on the left foot jumper too. I was like, I gotta try it at least. It's probably not gonna happen again. So it worked out pretty well, I'd say.
It did feel like that was kind of. You never know when the game's gonna turn, but that was kind of like the moment where the fans got into it. Maybe you guys stole the momentum back. Could you sense that too?
Well, I hope the fans got into that. That's not all they'll get this year. But I think, when you get a stop defensively and a quick layup at the other end, it's a good momentum change for the game. But yeah, they should appreciate that one and remember it well, because it's probably going to happen again.
You guys good for Ryan? Then we got a question online from Matt. Go ahead, Matt, with your question for Ryan.
Yeah, my connection's wonky, so I apologize if this has been asked already. But I was just wondering if, Ryan, what it might do for this young group to have to deal with an experienced team like BYU coming back, cutting that lead to 10, with plenty of time left, and closing that game out with without making mistakes and with making plays.
I think that's when we really had to stick to what we do as a team, stick to our identity. We kind of slowed the tempo down a little bit, controlled the pace. We tried to get the shots we wanted offensively. When you can control the pace offensively with the lead, you can kind of control the shots they were getting. They hit a couple tough shots down the stretch. They hit the glass hard too, but overall we did a good enough job offensively to keep us where we needed to be in that game.
I think we're good for Ryan. Thank you. Whoops, sorry. Questions for Coach?
I mean, you mentioned it about the way that they finished the game, your team. I mean, there's probably no real preparation for that, to have a big lead over a good team. You know they're going to come back. What did you see from your guys? What were you looking for as the game sort of reached that point where it's teetering a little bit?
Well, when you have a veteran team like BYU and they reach kind of desperation mode where they're just trying to get downhill and make plays, you really have to be disciplined defensively. And they probably got to the rim a few more times than I would have liked, but for the most part, I thought we took away some of the 3-point shots that they get within their offense. They got some deep ones on a couple of our switches that they took advantage of. But we've been in a few games where we've had to come from behind to win. I think that helps you. But for the most part, we handled the pressure well. We stepped up and made our free throws, which is important when a team's trying to come back.
Coach, it was a long time in the making to get Creighton a game here, and what was it like to finally have that? What did you think of the atmosphere, and then being able to tie in coaching versus cancer as well?
Yeah, I mean, it was awesome, and Paul Seville, and then I've just got so many friends from Sanford that I've gotten to know over the years. So we wanted to make this happen at some point, and I had a feeling what the hospitality was going to be like, and it certainly was that, and then some. And it's just a great venue for a game. I've been here for some high school games, and unfortunately the weather kept it from being totally full today. But it was an awesome environment for a college basketball game, and to have the coaches versus cancer piece is really important as well. And obviously, Sanford Health has certainly been a champion in the fight against cancer, as coaches versus cancer. So to be part of that and to get the message out about the need for continued research to fight cancer, and also I talked to a good friend of mine that was at the game today that's been battling cancer for 4 or 5 years, and he's taken a pill that wasn't available 2.5 years ago, and that's so important. Like it's constantly evolving and changing, and there's new treatments that are allowing people to live a more normal life with this awful disease, and of course. The same guy, told me that he probably caught it too late, and which is why we talk about early detection all the time, and to make sure that the screenings and the checkups take place when they're supposed to. So to be able to be part of this is awesome, and it was a great event today, and I thought the people at the Pentagon and Sanford Health did an awesome job, as I expected.
Got a question online from Matt. Go ahead, Matt.
Thank you. Hey, Mac, that first half lead you guys built up there, it's hard not to look. I know that not everything is baked into the stat sheet, but it's hard not to notice the disparity in the paint and trace that back to the margin you guys had at halftime. How much of that was just Ryan Kalkbrenner's efficiency on offensive end and his just ability to take away everything easy inside for BYU?
You can't drive in the snow anymore, Matt, or what? You have grown up in a has snowed before. So, no, it was obviously Ryan was huge. His presence at the rim offensively and on the offensive glass. And then we were able to hit a few threes early. And when you hit a few threes early, now do you give up that three and keep an extra help person in there on Kalkbrenner? So we were able to, to get him on a few, get him touches early in the game, I thought was huge. And then he just was, such a factor on the defensive end of the floor, both, blocking shots and changing shots. And so, I thought, the start of the game for Ryan was probably right up there with the end of the game against Southern Illinois in terms of how he impacted the game on both ends of the floor.
Your decision you guys switched everything basically for most of the first half, and maybe into the second too. How difficult is that to execute for a team? And I know it puts some guys in some tough mismatches at times. How do you think they handled that?
Yeah, we just felt that Marcelo and Lucas were, when they're comfortable, they're really, really good. And, we switched early, and then we went to blitz in a few screens, out of a timeout on occasion, and then went back to switching. And we just felt, we've done a lot of drop coverage during the course of the year, and drop coverage will lend itself to guys shooting a lot of mid-range shots. Well, that's what Lucas and Marcelo do, and that's where they're elite. So we wanted to take away that part of their game, and I thought for the most part we did. And we didn't get to Alex a few times on that three-point line, but I thought our guys executed the plan. We did a similar plan against North Dakota State where we switched a lot of screens, and it was effective. So, we have to have the ability, because we're so young right now and we're not really a master of anything yet. I think we've got to throw some change up at people and kind of change our coverages, and I thought our guys executed that well today.
Matt, do you have anything else?
Yes, I just have one more. Sorry. I know BYU isn't normally a team that forces a lot of turnovers, but this is like 50 straight minutes if you trace back to the last 10 of Iowa State, where you guys have been pretty good at ball security. What have you seen that's maybe different about the way your guys are just kind of just growing into understanding that, if they just take care of the ball, and usually good shots will come and they'll be pretty efficient offensively?
Well, thanks for not bringing up the first 30 minutes of Iowa State. We had a season full of turnovers in that first 30 minutes. I just think you grow with experience, and that was going to be a key part of this game, because generally BYU doesn't turn it over either, and we were able to force them into some turnovers with a few denials, with some blitzing and ball screens, and then I just think the knocking them out of rhythm with some switching on screens. So our guys are getting better. That's the reality of it. They're gonna grow with each experience, and as I've said many times, every game's a lesson, and there's a lot that we can learn from this game. Both a lot of good stuff that we did. I thought Alex O'Connell was terrific on both ends of the floor, and hit that big three that I thought was when they cut it to 10. Trey Alexander got in the teeth of defense, made a great jump stop and shot fake, and kicked it out to Alex. And those are the kind of plays that we have to have those other guys make. We rely on R2, we rely on Hawkins, we rely on Kalkbrenner. But when we can get plays like that from the other guys, it's really, really huge for us. But we took much better care of the ball today, and I think it's a result of all the experiences we've had leading up to today.
You just mentioned your team's growth, and every game's a lesson, but did you feel like you needed one against a good opponent to sort of propel you forward at this time of year? Or I don't know. Read on your guys.
You play to win, and we've won 8, we've lost 2, and obviously to have an opportunity, we're in a stretch of 3 ranked teams in 4 games, and we came up short at home against Iowa State. I think Iowa State showed you what they're about against Iowa the other night. So this was a really good win for us, and an opportunity to grow. And Arizona State was struggling early. They played really well the last couple games, so we'll have our hands full on Tuesday, and then we open league play on Friday. So this is a step in the right direction. It was a quality team. This was a great game for us. So for us to be able to come out on top against a very experienced team is really a feather in the cap for our guys. Thank you,
Coach.
Paul, will they bring books to our locker room, or should I come back up here? Will they bring set books to our locker room?
Thank you, guys.
I can find out for you.
Okay, I'm gonna head down to the floor.
Okay.
By the locker room.
Is there an easy way down to
They
the
should
floor?
have those down there.
Yeah,
But
they
if
should
I
have
need
them
to
at
come
the
back
table.
up,
5 minutes left.
do you want to come down to the locker room, Jeremy?
I can, well, if he's ready, I was gonna say I can walk around if you want.
No, I'll get back. That way we can get you Alex and Kalkbrenner.
I'll
Still around.
What's that?
Started online.
It might have gotten taken down already, but let me check for you.
Oh, here's an easy one. How many points did Hawkins have?
25. 25 points, 8 rebounds, 2 blocks.
Perfect, thank you. I'm good with that then, Paul.
Yeah, as you're driving, you start editing.
I suppose yours is bigger.
You know what, I don't really need a lot, I don't think.
It's okay.
Are there people online?
There are, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'll just take whatever he says.
Sure.
I just need to stay.
Can we zoom in on this?
Yes. I had it. You know, hang on, if you move, follow my.
Sorry.
No, that's as far as.
Okay, that just tilt down. Now set a bucket in his first game this morning.
We go wide lead.
Next one at 2.
So wide lead.
Big Sioux youth basketball leaders. What's the plan after this? But not, I mean, a ton. Okay. I'm gonna try and get out of here. Yeah. I'm gonna do some stuff.
No, you're mostly just this.
Put this back to
Our stuff out.
Okay.
Okay.
Now they use this. Which room do they use?
For what?
They have close. They do close games.
You know, they do hospital staff food and stuff like that.
Gotcha. That's funny. That's great.
Josh, you doing AP? Sure am. Just kind of hoping Iowa State, Iowa do something decent this week so I can cover next week.
No, that's just if somebody sneaks in like BYU. They're not the top 25. Is that how it is for you?
Yeah.
Top 10 win.
Tough for you. Yeah, exactly.
Boston. Yeah, yes, yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. It looked like you got that sorted.
Yeah.
Perfect. Got it. Actually looks like some repairs work.
I don't mind this. This is still a lot easier than that. It's we have it. So I can't see it anymore. Cisco. Maybe it's something where we can get us closer. BYU is on the way. Just coach sounds like. That ball you'll get reporting. I didn't why. Oh, it's still going.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, thanks. That's a real shirt. That's a real cool. Cool. Yeah. Hey guys. Great, thank you.
How we doing, guys?
Okay. I'll take questions. Opening statement.
Yeah,
All right, good afternoon, everybody. We've got BYU head coach Mark Pope. Coach, you want to start with an opening statement? We'll take questions from in the room, and then we'll go online.
Yeah, congratulations to Creighton. I've been a long time, huge, big fan of Coach McDermott. I think he's super creative, and they have a good team, and they played well tonight, played really physical. Congratulations to them. We're super disappointed with the outcome. Take any questions.
Coach, they shot it really well in the first half. Did do anything at halftime to, because they didn't shoot it nearly as well as they.
Well, yeah, I mean, 44 was just he was a handful for us tonight in the first half, and we couldn't find any answers. So that was really, really difficult for us. I think the physicality of the game took us by surprise a little bit, which is really disappointing for us. We're usually the ones that are kind of bringing the physicality of the game, and we're getting pushed around today, and it took us a long time to finally respond. That's on me, getting these guys ready to play right. But they're a good team. They move the ball well. They got a really talented young point guard who really runs the show for them, and having a stretch forward like they do makes them complicated defensively.
What were you trying to tell your guys in terms of attacking inside? Yeah, they obviously had a shot blocker in the middle, but just to try to get your offense going.
Yeah, really. We're their switching slowed us down a lot early, and we didn't take advantage of it. We're kind of bailing on seals early, letting the shot blocker roam free. We kind of were fan to keep dribble line to actually make a second move where you could actually expose the shot blocker. We didn't do that well. We got a little bit rushed and a little bit. We just became a little bit impatient. All of that kind of climb in the first half was really tough for us.
You mentioned 44. I just wonder when I'm sure you guys did your scouting and watched him a ton, but like what about him is a little bit different on game day? Or
well, he's a big time shooter, and he's got great range, and he gets it off pretty quick, and he's at the 4 spot. The space that perches you as a team is a huge problem, and it's our job as coaches not just to talk about a scout, but also to help our guys understand, put it inside them, and our guys were surprised early on with how mobile he was and how quick he was to get shots off, and that's a learning process. It's something where you grow. It's where you start to attach understanding with words, and so it's a good education for us tonight. They taught us a lot.
Sound good. Okay. Let's go to Alex from the Salt Lake Tribune. Go ahead, Alex.
Hi, Coach. I wanted to ask about the free throw disparity, and I think 3 of your starters ended up with 4 fouls. How much did that kind of play in? Foul trouble kind of play into the way this one played out?
Yeah, like I said, we had an issue. We did not respond to the physicality of the game early on. I think the first media timeout was the last media timeout of the first half was maybe a 4-3 foul game, and we didn't respond to that opportunity very well. I needed to lead these guys better in terms of answering the physicality of the game. We just didn't. So we'll do that better as we move forward. Like I said, the season's a journey where you get to be educated, and we got a terrific education tonight. The most important thing is that we actually learn from it.
Let's go to Sean Walker. Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, Coach, just how much of a load was their 7-foot center down load, especially with how shorthanded you guys are in the post?
Well, 11 does a tremendous job running the floor. First of all, he really runs the floor hard every time. He brings tremendous energy to the game doing that. And then he's a 1.46 points per possession in the post on the season, which is in the 99th percentile. He's one of the top most efficient players in the country, and he's 6 for 7. I think he's 6 for 7 tonight, and it just shows you he's a load down there, and he's a problem. And we didn't deal with that. When you're undersized and you're getting beat down the floor, that's a real problem, and that's a problem with me preparing our team appropriately.
We'll go to Matt next. Go ahead, Matt.
Thank you, Coach. I was just wondering if you could speak to maybe the defensive aspect of what number 11 brought for Creighton tonight. I mean, it seemed like even when he was out of the game, the rhythm in terms of finishing at the rim wasn't quite there because of how disruptive he was early in the game.
Yeah, we're traditionally a grade 2s team. We kind of thrive at 2-point field goals. I felt like we were rushing. I felt like we were actually, when you face a shot blocker like that's as mobile as he is, that's willing to leave his man and come away from the rim as much as he can. On the backside, we just didn't take advantage of it. That's a keep your dribble alive, make a second move, come to 2 feet, make a second play. And we just got to a point where we were so rushed. You know, part of that is on me for, you know, I'm preaching pace, trying to move us towards a pace game. And we were just, you know, our decision making downhill was really, really poor. And it wasn't just a ball handler with KDAs and DLs and 2 feet, but it was also our bigs, you know, releasing their seals early, not finding an open gap to make themselves available. It was just a combination of problems. I suspect when we go look back at the film, we're just going to be a little bit sick with not taking advantage of this next opportunity that was available to us. We kind of thought we're going to race in there and just try to get a shot over guys. That's not us. It's not traditionally who we are. You know, I think that it's my job to help us kind of like dial it back a little bit and start making better reads. And we will. You know, it's why you play the schedule that we're playing right now. I mean, it's a ridiculously difficult schedule, and the reason you play is so you get exposed. And getting exposed is super painful. I mean, it's awful. There's nothing worse, but at the end of the day, our goal is to become a great team by the end of the season, and this certainly is going to be an important step for us because this is going to teach us a lot.
Take one more question from Sean. Go ahead, Sean.
Sorry, I just forgot to put my hand down. I'll let Coach go.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good. We're all set. Thanks, Coach.